Hello, Mike Cattermole here of At the Races and Channel 4 Racing, looking ahead to the final day of Royal Ascot 2009 for Stan James. Saturday is Golden Jubilee Stakes Day, and what a race that promises to be, one of the highlights of the season, let alone Royal Ascot. Meanwhile, Pat Edery might become a member of an elite club if Aerodynamic can win the opening race on Saturday. That's the Chesham Stakes. The 11-time champion jockey would be more than keen to emulate old rival Lester Piggott, who also trained a winner at the Royal Meeting after many a success in the saddle here. Aerodynamic won quite nicely at Nottingham and is open to improvement at the 7-furlong trip. The Hardwicke Stakes doesn't look a vintage renewal, and Sir Michael Stoute, the man with the golden touch with the older horses, must have high hopes for a 6th win in the race with Dr. Fremantle, who reappeared at Chester to win over 10 furlongs. Stoute's of the opinion that Dr. Fremantle is better at 12 furlongs, so that was an encouraging run. Remember, he won last year's Chester Vase and was also 4th in the Derby over that trip. But Campanologist is talented enough to give him more than a race if he's back to his best. He looked in great nick in the paddock before his reappearance defeat at Sandown over 10 furlongs, and he wasn't beaten all that far either. Don't forget he beat Conduit in the Kiev of the 7th Stakes at this meeting last year. Amazingly, the only time he's been allowed to tackle this trip, and yet he's bred to be suited by it. Maybe one then for the Frankie and the boys in blue here, although of course Godolphin's horses are not running with any great deal of sparkle right now. I certainly am worried if you're having a bet in that race on him. The Golden Jubilee, well, this promises so much, doesn't it, with international challengers, JJ the Jet Plane, Sacred Kingdom and old favourite Takeover Target. They all set a very high standard indeed, and what a shame that the King's Stand hero, Scenic Blast, looks likely to miss the gig and wait for the July Cup. I think he would have taken all the beating of lining up in this. But in his likely absence, this could be the chance for South African champ JJ the Jet Plane, who showed himself in good condition when winning at Windsor recently on his first British start. Although Sacred Kingdom, the champion of Hong Kong, looked right back to his best in Singapore last time. Well, we may not have the Budapest Bullet as Overdose misses out, but we do have a horse they're calling the Greek Freak in Ialisos, who did the job well on his first British start for Luca Kumani. And then, of course, there's Kingsgate Native, last year's winner, who's said to be burning up the gallops again after an aborted stud campaign. Now, of course, with Sir Michael Stoute. More speedsters next in the Wokingham, and William Haggas has made no secret of the fact that he has trained High Standing for this notoriously hot heat. High Standing has shown himself to be in terrific form lately, has got a great turn of foot, which he produced again at Goodwood last time, to add to his Doncaster win. Jimmy Stiles is another that will be lining up at the top of his game from trainer Clive Cox, of course, who's having another terrific season. Tamagin, 5th last year, seems as good as ever at 6 years old and won't be far away either. The next race, well, we'll concentrate here on a horse I think has got a major chance, Andrew Balding's Hatton Flight. He just gets better and better and is at the height of his powers now at the age of 5, having won all 3 this season. I like the way he finishes off his races strongly, and he has to make your shortlist for the Duke of Edinburgh Stakes. Another one to consider, though, is Krakentorp, who was well back to make a return at Goodwood recently, only to be worn down near the finish. He's sure to be sharper both mentally and physically now for the Rafe Beckett team. And then finally, Carracciola, at the age of 12, could easily make history by winning the Queen Alexandra Stakes. Who knows, this wonderful servant could well carry it off and bring the curtain down on what's been a wonderful meeting.